there. Ooh, there's a massive hole in it. Oof. Right there, look at the hole. That's why it's draining more, because Jesus. What the fuck? What did you do? I didn't do anything.
Now, as you've probably seen with that clip, we did a bit of fuck up at the end, but that will be in the end. Today we're doing a service on the M5 E39. Now we're going to change all of the brake fluid because the brakes are shit and have been like that for a while. We're going to do the oil change, the gearbox change, and also the rear differential, because I don't think my dad has done this for 10 years or so. He did the spark plugs a few weeks ago without me. Unfortunately, I didn't get that on video, but we're going to do the rest today. So now we're just going to set up. My dad is just undoing the tightness of the wheels on the floor, because you do not want to try to untighten them whilst they're up on the air, because you might move the car forward and backwards. So he's just going to do that on every single of the bolts of the wheels, whilst I watch him basically. Then we're going to put it up. When we were putting it up, he realized that the pad was in the wrong place, so we're just going to make sure that we put it back in the right place, because yesterday we had a bit of an accident on the A3, which will be in the next video. So up he goes. Now the first thing I'm going to do is open up the brake fluid cap. It's underneath the left side, underneath the pollen filter. And what you got to do when it comes to changing the brake fluid is keep pumping the brake whilst the bleed nipples are open on the brakes, and you're just flushing the fluid out. So fluid comes out, you put more in the reservoir, it flushes out, you put more back in. So right now we're just taking off the wheels. Much easier than on the scissor ramp. It is a lot easier on this 2+ ramp. We're very glad we installed this. Once that's done, here's the nipple. So we're just going to add a pipe into a bottle full of brake fluid so you don't get any air bubbles, because sometimes it does pull fluid back up. This is where we're going to be putting in the fluid, of course, when it comes to flushing it out. Now there's a little bit of a filter in the way, but we got it out. So here my dad is. So whilst he's doing this, I am pushing the brake and pumping it. And as soon as I pumped it, he's going to open the bleed nipple and then reclose it, and then all over again. So here's the rear right wheel. And you start from the furthest wheel from the ABS pump, or the master cylinder is what you can call it. So we're just doing the rear right wheel, or left wheel, depending on which way you're looking at it, I guess. So once again, I'm just pumping on the brake. He's opening the nipple, then closing it, opening it, closing it. Now you don't want to leave the nipple always open normally, because otherwise it can suck fluid back in and sometimes air, which basically just defies the whole point of flushing out the brake fluid. And there were no major air bubbles on the rear wheels, just a lot of fluid coming out. The fluid wasn't too bad looking, but we do think a lot of water's gone into it over the probably 10 years that it's been sitting in this car. But we definitely spent a lot of time on this rear back wheel because we wanted to make sure that all the fluid was going out. I think on this wheel is where we got the majority of the fluid out of the reservoir. Now I'm cutting the clips, but maybe every 45 seconds he's going back and filling it up, so a lot of fluid is coming out. Then we're going to move on to the opposite side of the rear wheels. So on this side we don't have to do it as much, but once again opening and closing the brake bleed nipples. And the fluid before was a sort of orangey colour, maybe a bit brown, and now it's coming out a light amber, so definitely a good idea to change the fluid. It depends on each wheel what the fluid is like, and on the front wheels they had loads of air bubbles and it was very dark, so on the front wheels it was a lot better. This is me inside the car, my view. I'm just pumping the brake. So what you tend to do is pump and hold. So you pump a few times, hold it, wait for him to open, then when he recloses it, pump again. And it's just this cycle that enables you to flush the fluid out without capturing any air in. Now if you're by yourself, what you can do is use a electronic pusher that you can put onto the master cylinder, but with two people this is probably the easiest way. Now next up, the brake fluid on this car is also used for the clutch release when you're turning on the clutch or not. So we also bled that. Next was the ABS pump to bleed. Now we didn't know if there was a lot in, but for the first few minutes I dicked around on the Autel trying to find where the ABS bleeding module was. Where it actually was in the control unit instead of the servicing. And it was something like the assistant control module bleeding, I think is what it was, or it was the stability control module bleeding. That's what it was, not ABS. But here it is. I found it. So the only thing you've got to do is run it, go to the bleed nipple, and whilst it's running, you open it, and when it finishes, you close it, and you just got to re-pump the brakes a few times and bleed it that way. So hopefully you can hear on the clip the noise that it makes. It kind of ticks and also makes this sort of whining noise. And that's how you know that it's definitely bleeding the ABS pump. As you can see, when it's finished, I'm just going to go ahead and pump the brakes, and he's going to open the nipple again just to make sure that there's no air that got in after it's finished. After you finished on all four wheels, you just got to pump it again like I just said. It's bleeding the ABS pump and then bleeding the brake again. Now this was a bit of a lengthy thing to do on this car, but trust me, the difference was immense. Now after we did this, obviously the wheels are off. Now we're going to take the time to wire brush all the brakes and everything that's rusted on them, and also the calipers. Now whilst he's doing that, I'm going to clean the inside of the wheels because I don't think they have been cleaned for a few years. So I'm just going to use this spray that I bought from my local shop. It's dead cheap, it's nasty. We call it chicken gravy because it smells like chicken gravy for some. And after that's been washed off again, I'm just going to put more of the chicken gravy back on and spread it off once more. Then when I flip it back over, basically the same thing. They're pretty clean already, so I'm just going to put some chicken gravy on, let it sit for a bit, get rid of a bit of the brake dust, and then just take it off. After all four wheels have been cleaned and also all around the brakes, we're going to use the engine hoist to put back the wheels because they're not super heavy, but this is a much easier way than one of us having to hold it up. So pretty easy, just hand tight the screws, then tighten them in I don't know what you call it. It's clockwise, but you want to skip every other screw so that you try and balance out the load, and definitely make sure they have not been tightened, cross-threaded. That is the most important thing when it comes to brake bolts. So those were the rear wheels. Now we're going to go on to the front ones. Same thing, just use the engine hoist, lift it up, make it easy. No point trying to make it painful for yourself. If you can do stuff like this, it's a lot easier than having to carry them and put the bolts in at the same time. Now you can see the A3 in the back there. We've got some jobs on that to replace the discs and pads, but as you still see in the next video, we completely bought the wrong discs. We bought the front ones instead of the rear ones, and they're about 4 or 5 times the size. So we had to leave that for another day and instead get the M5 up and do this. So the car's going to come back down now. We've done all the brakes, we've done all the wheels back on. We're going to take it for a test drive. And I didn't take any clips of the test drive, but it was an enormous difference. Instead of half the brake being squishy, it stopped dead instantly. Now, Brakes of this era on these cars are still not great. They're considered to be pretty shit, but it made an enormous difference compared to what it was like before. Now I'm just going to go around the car talking them up to 120 Newton meters. And whilst I'm doing that, as you can see in the background, my dad is going to fit back in the pollen filter on the left side. Now this car's quite special. It's got 2 pollen filters, 2 air boxes. Obviously it's a naturally aspirated 4.9 litre V8, and for once the pollen filters are not an absolute pain to get to, unlike some of the Audis where it's underneath the dashboard. So he's going to put that back in. That's just above the brake reservoir. That's why we had to take it off. He's struggling a bit because the previous owner had broken some of the tabs, so it's not making it easy for us. On this car, I'm pretty sure the boxes for the pollen filters, you're supposed to twist and pull them out, and if you'd ever take your car to a garage, I'm pretty sure they used to just yank them out, so most likely broken. But now that's sorted, he's done that. He's just going to do the last few screws and we can finally take it for a test drive. Oh, and of course, one last thing, we got to remove the pads from the lift because good luck trying to drive over them. Here's my TT, it's parked outside because I had to move it out of the way, still looking glorious. Another video to come on that, I'm going to be changing the grills on it, hopefully getting them grown. This is already good news, the brakes are stuck, the clutch isn't stuck after we tried to bleed that as well. We were a bit scared we might have fucked that up, and he's already done a brake test and it works really well. Such a beautiful, elegant, but still very mean looking build for a car. I still don't think there is another M5 that looks as good. Now here's the servicing, that is going to be for the gearbox, the manual gearbox, 6-speed. And this is the oil for the rear diff. Now it's on this car it's an LSD, limited slip diff. Now you only tend to get this on the M cars. I think even on the M light cars you don't get it. Here's the fuel filter as well. We're going to be doing that another day because we realised a lot of the stuff was quite rusty. And this is the additive my dad has always put in the LSD. Now I don't really know what it's for, but he says it's quite important. Now I'm going to be putting back the pads on because it's going to go back in the air, of course, one more time. Now before we start, we obviously got to get the oil warmed up. Now this is the next day, so it's not yesterday where we drove it. So what we're going to do is let the car run for 15 minutes, put it up in the air a bit, because then we can put it in first gear and let the clutch also warm up, and also the LSD. Should probably be called something else than LSD. It's a bit weird calling the diff a drug. And there is the pump that you can see my dad is starting to clean out. That's what we're going to be using to pump all the fluid into the gearbox and the diff. So underneath, we're just having a look because it's quite oily underneath, and we definitely think we get a leak from somewhere. Now there's a lot on the gearbox, but there's also a lot underneath the engine. And as you can probably tell by the first clip of the video, last time my dad did the oil change on this, he over tightened the sump plug. Now the sump plug is metal, it's steel, and the bottom of the sump is aluminium. So hard metal trying to screw into soft metal, if you do it too hard you can break it, so do be careful if you do have one of these cars. We're going to have to drill a new thread into it, but for now we didn't realise that, so taking it out was still fine. And there is the oil that comes out. Now it's still quite clear, even though it's probably been in there for a year, I think it has at this point. But this car doesn't do as many kilometers as all the others, so it's not really used. As you can see, it's really not that bad. It's a clear brown amber instead of being black. And here's the gearbox, so that is the drain plug and that is the film plug at the top. So as you can see, first I'm going to undo the fill plug because you never want to take out the oil and realize that the fill plug is stuck, because then you've got no oil in the gearbox and you cannot move it. So I'm going to take off the drain plug because I know that the fill plug will come off, so it's pretty easy. I'm pretty sure it's a size 15 or 17. The gearbox oil looks okay for 10 years old, doesn't look too bad. Now on the sump plug, the last person who did this, which I think was a garage, put this type of silicone around it, so I'm just going to take that out with a knife and some brake cleaner and try to remove it. Because at this point it got so old, it's not really doing anything, and it might get into the gearbox, which would be quite a big issue. Now, as you can see, my cameraman skills are amazing because my hands are completely out of the shot, but we'll ignore that. And this is the oil we use, supercar oil, 10W60. It's quite a rare type of oil for cars. They tend to be for Lamborghinis, so you can tell how serious this M5 is. Now, whilst I'm doing that, my dad's going to change the oil filter. It's not very hard on this car, it's at the top, very easy to get to. It's 25 Newton meters to tighten. As you can see, I'm struggling on my Newton meter wrench. And that's the oil filter done. Now I'm going to apply this silicone. It's supposed to be for the gaskets when I change the head gasket on my TT. Now this is probably a very stupid idea. If anyone wants to let us know in the comments. But we're going to do this because I think this drain plug has a bit of an oil leak on it, which is why the last person put some silicone. But our thinking is if it can be on the head gasket, the rocker cover gasket I mean, and not be a bad thing if it goes in the oil, we thought probably wouldn't be too bad compared to anything else. So here we are, this is the second thing to do, or the third actually. It's the LSD. Now it's the same sort of system. You've got a drain plug and a fill plug. Now our issue, as you see here, we have no tools to be able to get to it without removing the exhaust. Everything was just too long. It was a 13mm Allen key. Or no, that was a 12 one. The one above was 13, but we just couldn't get to it. We couldn't get onto it, so I had to go drive to the store to get some. And on the way back, this is where I realised that we'd fucked up because my dad tried to put it back in and he went in cross-threaded because obviously last time he broke the threads. But anyways, we ignore that for now. I got an Allen key, removed the drain plug, let it out. It's quite dirty, but again, it's been there for so long you can't blame it. And here I am filling it in. So we're going to put 2 litres for both. I think one of them, I think the gearbox takes 1.7 and the rear diff takes 1.6, but put 2 litres in because as we realised you get a lot of fluid in the tube and it's just barely enough. So the way to fill these things up is to close up the drain plug obviously first, and into the fill plug you just put the pipe, pump fluid in, nothing special, and wait for it to leak out of the fill plug, and that's when you know that it's basically full. Now you want to make sure the car is level, of course, when you're doing that, and then screw it back up and you're good to go. So here I am, I'm undoing the fill plug, sorry, for the gearbox. So I'm just going to pump it. It's nothing very difficult. Now it obviously takes quite a while with this pump, but it's really good instead of the hand push ones. This is much better and a lot easier to use. Maybe not if I was by myself, but still, it's a lot better than having to use the bottle itself to pump in because it doesn't really go very well and you get oil everywhere, etc, etc. Now there you go, you can see the oil coming out, so just got to fill back up the plug and tighten it, and that is it. Now these 2 plugs were up to 50 Newton meters, quite tight, especially that normally it's not underneath a lot of pressure. Anyways, onto the LSD, it's the same sort of thing. We're just going to screw back on the drain plug, undo the fill plug. As you can see, I'm doing it with a massive iron bar. Now to the top on the fill plug, we could get to it, so no issue, no need for an Allen key on this. And we're just going to do the same thing, fill it back up, wait for it to leak out, and do it back up. Now again, this took about 1.6 litres, but if you put 2 litres in, that's absolutely no issue. It's just you wait for it to drain out and it's good. It's a lot easier than, say, the engine oil, where you've got to make sure the level is right on the dipstick. It's just very simple. Just please make sure that your car is level before you do it. Then we're going to tighten it up. These two plugs are up to 60 Newton meters, very, very heavy. As you can see, whilst I am trying to remove the oil drain plug, this is where we realized that it was fucked. So the way we're going to proceed is we can't buy a sump for this car because it's so expensive, because it's so old and so rare. As you can see, we're trying to figure out what to do. He's putting up the paper towel because all the metal dropped inside. So I think tomorrow, or for you lot in another video, we're going to remove the sump, remove all the metal, and redo a new bolt hole, refred it, if that's the right term. And here's the clip again of us finding out.
Yeah.
Now, thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one to see how we repair it, and also the A3 and changing all the brakes and stuff.
Look at the hole. That's why it's draining.
And goodbye. Thank you.
Jesus. What the fuck? What did you do? I didn't do anything.